How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. I made my most recent video on 10 teams with the hardest path to winning a championship. If you haven't seen it yet, just click on the description above. No path to winning an NBA championship's easy. You still have to have luck on your side. Some teams might face weaker competition than others. The 2011 Mavs earned their ring in one of the toughest paths imaginable. The same cannot be said for some of the Golden State teams. With that said, here are 10 teams with the easiest path to winning an NBA championship since 1984. Before I start this video, I mentioned starting 1984 since the playoff format was expanded from 12 to 16 teams. Many first place teams have first round byes and need just 12 wins to capture the title. The 83 Sixers didn't need to play in the first round, neither did the 82 Lakers, being the best from each conference. Many of the previous champions have had easier paths, winning only 3 rounds, which is why this video focuses on every team to win 4 playoff series starting from 36 years ago. As you all know, the 2016 Cavs had a cakewalk to the finals, faced the weak Pistons, Hawks, and a beatable Raptors team. If the Golden State series was tied 2-2 before Draymond's suspension and Cleveland won in 6, they would have made the list. But coming back down 3-1, the most impressive 3-game stretch in finals history, that comeback itself made it an extremely difficult path. Even though Golden State had an all-star and some injuries to their role players, James and Irving played spectacular in those elimination games, proving why they were worthy champions. This list doesn't mean the easiest path getting to the finals, but the easiest path to winning a title. Just to get everything straight, James's competition in the East were cakewalks many years, only to end up facing a way more superior team from the West. Number 8, starting with the 2013 Miami Heat. LeBron at the peak of his powers, Miami dominated the latter part of the regular season, even won 27 straight, finished 37-2, easily destroyed the 8-seeded 38-win Bucks in round 1, every game by double digits, when Monte Ellis and Brandon Jennings were the team's 2 best players, followed by a 45-win Bulls team without Derrick Rose, no Luol Deng, who was hospitalized during the Nets series, second-year Jimmy Butler and Nate Robinson, the 2 best offensive players, easy 5-game series, knocked off the 49-win Pacers in the conference finals. The reason this series was close in the first place, the breakout of Paul George's 2-way dominance, plus prime Roy Hibbert destroying Miami's weak front line, averaged over 22 and 10 on Bosh and Haslam. Games 5 and 7 in South Beach were blowouts, plus Wade and Bosh struggled that series. James averaged 29 points. Those Pacers weren't close to contenders at all, followed by the 58-win Spurs. Russell Westbrook of OKC got hurt in the first round. Before the season started, San Antonio a plus 1600 title odds, the only 50-plus win team the Heat faced all playoffs. Danny Green shot lights out at home, but was an atrocity in games 6 and 7, part of the reason why San Antonio lost. Miami's title absolutely deserving, but the Spurs were the only real threat for them. Number 7, the 1985 Lakers. Back when the East had loaded teams, some of whom didn't get a chance to make the finals, the 80s West was dominated by just Showtime and a little bit of Houston. 62 wins, toyed with the 36-win Suns in the first round, a team with no business being in the playoffs. Next up, a 42-win Trailblazers team in the semis. Most 8-seed first-round matchups usually win around 42 games. An easy 5 games, Kiki Vandeweghe and sophomore Clyde Drexler didn't stand a chance against Showtime, who averaged 127 points through 5 games. The conference finals, a 52-win Nuggets team, 2 All-Stars, Alex English and Calvin Nat, a high-scoring powerhouse. Denver averaged 120 for the series, but Showtime 132. The only real competition, the 63-win Celtics, a finals rematch. After getting demolished the first game, Showtime came back, won 4 of 5. Jabbar averaged over 25-9. Bird, the only player LA eliminated to make either first or second team All-NBA. The West was a guaranteed ticket to the championship. The C's no longer had Gerald Henderson and Cedric Maxwell, limited minutes, barely produced. Boston was clearly better in 84 and a lot better in 86. Number 6, the 2018 Golden State Warriors. Yes, they did face the 65-win Rockets, a huge challenge and a big test showing what they're capable of. 58 wins. The Big Four got tired of the regular season, barely tried in March and April. San Antonio still got the 7th seed, with Kawhi nearly missing the entire season. Pop did an excellent job coaching, but with LaMarcus Aldridge, the team's best player, Patty Mills, the second option, even without Steph Curry the entire first round, sidelined with a knee injury, 3 star players still alive lot of firepower for Golden State, winning in 5, followed by the 48-win Pelicans. After a great matchup with the Blazers, AD and Drew Holiday, considered a good team but nowhere near contenders, Dubs won the series in 5 games, dominating fashion with Curry missing game 1. After going down 3-2, Houston's second best player, Chris Paul, pulled his hamstring the final minutes of game 5, a devastating loss for Houston's title hopes. A 20-point score with elite defense, Harden went 22 of 53 the final 2 games. Rockets went cold from 3 and couldn't find a basket when needed. No energy left in the tank the second half, giving the Warriors an easier path with a critical injury break. Won decisively in 7, only to sweep the 50-win Cavs in the finals. Besides James's epic performance in game 1, everybody knew Cleveland would get swept after J.R. Smith made the costly mistake. The real conference finals was the actual finals. The East was weak. Durant took advantage, winning his second finals MVP. If it wasn't for Paul's injury and Golden State still won, they wouldn't have been on this list. The 1999 San Antonio Spurs, a shortened lockout year, screwed many teams over. Players wanted more money on the league's minimum salary, ongoing from July till January. Fans lost hope of the game after Jordan's second retirement. Shawn Kemp looked like he gained 100 pounds. San Antonio went 37-13, the most in shape team all season. Second year Tim Duncan showed his young legs. Easy first round series against the 500 Timberwolves, swept Shaq and Kobe's Lakers. Before Kobe was a true superstar, O'Neal stated, "Everyone knew how many cats came into the season out of shape, wondering if they were gonna play 50 games in a 3-month span. Nuh-uh. Shaq was likely one of those guys out of shape. Didn't make first team, wasn't at his best all season." San Antonio also went on to sweep the 99 Blazers with power forward Rasheed Wallace and Damon Stoudemire. Because the season screwed a lot of teams, the 8-seeded Knicks shockingly made the finals. No match for the Spurs bigs, went 5 games without Patrick Ewing. New York won 27-23 overall. A lot of older teams started breaking down with the amount of games in a short period. The 99 Spurs will always be remembered as champions. Number 4, the 1987 Lakers, the best version of Showtime. Magic won his first MVP, 65 wins, 10 games better than any team in the West. Dallas, the only other to win over 50. The East simply had better squads, faced the 37-win Nuggets in round 1, a 3-0 series. LA averaged nearly 136 points. The 5th-seeded Warriors up next, 42-40 overall. Not much of a threat, went 5 games, only since point guard Sleepy Floyd had one of the most insane performances in NBA history. Dropped 51 in the Game 4 comeback, aborted the sweep, followed by the 39-win Sonics in the conference finals. The 7th seed upsetted Dallas and Houston, led by lone all-star Xavier McDaniel. Lakers swept Seattle. James Worthy averaged 30.5 points through 4 games. Magic's greatest shot of his career, Game 4 of the finals, giving LA a 3-1 series lead over Boston, winning in 6 games, getting the bragging rights over Bird. The C's were supposed to have Lim Bias, tragically passed away 2 days after the '86 draft. The team was getting old. Bill Walton missed almost the entire season. McHale suffered a foot injury that affected the rest of his career. Bird's back was building up. Boston wasn't close to being the same team from '86, but that doesn't take away Showtime's greatness. Johnson had his best finals, averaged 26, 8, and 13 on 54% shooting. Number 3, the 2017 Warriors, one of the most boring playoffs in NBA history. No competition whatsoever. Both the Cavs and Warriors barely broke a sweat in their conferences. Cleveland played weaker teams in the East and had an easier path, but the Dubs matched up with a 41-win Trailblazers team that played zero defense, followed by the 51-win Jazz, a solid team with Gordon Hayward the best player. No match, won all 4 games by double digits, followed by the 61-win Spurs. The famous Zaza Kawhi series, San Antonio might have taken the Dubs to 6, but after 24 minutes of game 1, Leonard sprained his ankle, forcing him to miss the rest of the series. Golden State was on verge of losing game 1, but came back after Leonard was out. The Spurs already without Tony Parker. Golden State won the next 3 by a combined 62 points. No contest whatsoever. KD and Clay could have rested after game 1 and the Dubs would still have won the series. On to the 51-win Cavs. LeBron and Kyrie talented enough to destroy anybody in the Eastern Conference, but wasn't an elite defensive team. Playing Kyle Korver, Darren Williams, and Channing Frye helped on offense, but their defense was worse with those guys on the floor. Ranked 22nd in defensive efficiency, 29 after the All-Star break, Golden State ran Cleveland out of the gym. No defense necessary in the finals. Dubs averaged over 121 points, Cleveland 114. Every superstar had monster numbers. Golden State just too good, made the Cavs pay for their bad habits. Number 2, the 2015 Golden State Warriors. The biggest surprise of the 2015 season, 67 wins, earned the number 1 seed. The teams they faced might look good on paper, but every single one of their opponents had an injury. 45-win Pelicans limited by a banged-up Drew Holiday. Tariq Evans also hurt. Not that it would change the result of the series, but New Orleans could have won a game at least. Golden State then matched up with the 55-win Grizzlies. Injuries to 2 of their key players, Mike Conley and Tony Allen, played a factor in the Dubs 4-2 series win. Memphis actually led 2 games to 1. Conley shot just 3 of 13 in Game 6. Although many believe Golden State would still win the series, against a fully healthy grit and grind team, it would have been tighter. Up next, the 56-win Rockets. Without their best perimeter defender Patrick Beverley, Dwight Howard also banged up. First 2 games extremely close. Harden blew it in Game 2, had 12 turnovers in Game 5, melted down under pressure. Curry played extremely well. Golden State then caught a huge break in the finals, where Kyrie got hurt late Game 1, forcing him to miss the remainder of the series. A team already missing Kevin Love, short-handed, the Cavs had to start Dellavedova, Shumpert, Thompson, and Mozgov. With LeBron doing the heavy lifting, Cleveland still managed to win 2 games. Most playoff teams in the West would have also beaten the short-handed Cavs team. Not to mention, Golden State also didn't have to face San Antonio or the Clippers, a 3-6 first round matchup. It was an absolute travesty. One of those teams had to lose in the first round. Not that they would have beaten Golden State, but at least give the Dubs a run for their money. Number 1, the 2007 San Antonio Spurs. A year where either one of these 3 teams, San Antonio, Dallas, and Phoenix, the only real title contenders, the Spurs simply caught the biggest break after Dallas shockingly got bounced by Golden State in the first round, a team who eliminated them the previous year. San Antonio took care of business against the 45-win Nuggets, a heavily anticipated semis against the 61-win Suns, pretty much considered the real NBA Finals. Every diehard fan knew it too. Whichever team winning the series was a guaranteed lock to win it all. The momentum changed after Robert Horry's cheap shot on Steve Nash, the final minute of Game 4, causing AMARE and Boris Diaw to come off the bench, forcing suspensions. In the pivotal Game 5, Phoenix extremely short-handed. Nash, Barbosa, Bell, Marion, and Kurt Thomas started. James Jones and Pat Burks came off the bench. San Antonio didn't play particularly well, but well enough to win by 3. Phoenix simply didn't have enough gas in the tank. If AMARE would have played, Suns likely win, and it would have gone 7. Spurs would close out Game 6 at home, a hip check that still haunts the Suns franchise to this day. After that, the easiest 2 matchups in pursuit for a title, knocked off the surprising 51-win Jazz, who upsetted Houston in round 1, led by sophomore Darren Williams. Easy 5-game series, followed by the 50-win Cavs, who wouldn't have gotten past the first round if they played Western Conference competition. An easy sweep, lowest rated finals all time. Everyone knew the results before it started. An easy road to the title, combined with the toughest opponent's suspension. Many still believe the Suns were cheated during these playoffs. San Antonio beating only 1 team with 52+ wins en route to the title, that team having their second best player suspended. One can argue Robert Horry came in clutch again. At the end of the day, a ring's a ring, not taking anything away from these great teams. Every one of them deserved the title, just didn't face the toughest competition compared to other champions like the 2011 Mavs or 95 Rockets. Even when the opponents are vulnerable with injuries, the team still has to perform and get the job done. Which one of these teams do you believe had the easiest path in winning a title? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe for more content, more great stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.